Mr Chair, firstly I'd just like to respond to what the Minister said about you can't legislate for good teaching, I think it was, or words to that effect. And I agree with her what she's saying there. I just think that as the Minister, she's the person that is able to create the conditions where teachers can actually weave their magic. One of the conditions that I believe that will have some effect are these tertiary secondary programs, and I'd just like to think that they could have taken that whole change of context a step further and perhaps introduced an idea that I raised in I think it was the second reading around specialist schools, because legislating for specialist schools could in fact do a similar sort of thing that the tertiary secondary programs provide, in that they change the context in which students could be learning. Now, a specialist school, and I know the ACT Party and the national parties often talk about choice for parents and choice for students, but that choice normally revolves around a student in a decile 4 school in one part of a city being able to go across town during the day to a decile 8 school. And that's fine. That's fine for the upwardly mobile type folks, but it actually doesn't address choice for those who can't actually get around cities. But it also, the problem is that a decile 4 school teaches basically the same sort of stuff that a decile 8 school teaches. Whereas if you had specialist schools, say someone living in the middle of a city within 20 minutes could go to a school that offers a different type of learning, such as specialisation in the arts, or specialisation in sports, or specialisation in science or technology, then we could have then the Minister could legislate for different contexts that do provide real choice for parents and for students. And so that's just a thought I would like to lay on the table. But just to go back to the parts of this bill that we are debating, I mean, one of the parts is what my colleague Trevor Mallard's already brought up about the enrolment scheme priorities and adding, changing the law so that pupils of former pupils can attend the school that their parents used to. And my question is, children of former pupils, could attend the school that their parents used to go to. And the question I ask is, how many pupils or how many students are going to actually pass NCEA purely because they could attend the school that their parents attended? We're talking here about, I don't know, maybe a couple of hundred pupils at the most, and it's not going to have an effect on the greater need of students across schools in New Zealand. So I just fail to see why this type of part in a bill has actually any real need to be discussed at a time like this, when we've got more serious concerns around, as we've spoken about, 1 in 5 children who are meant to be failing. This really adds nothing to the greater improvement or raising of student achievement. Likewise, if a Board of Trustees member wants to lives in the Hutt Valley but is a member of a Board of Trustees here in the city, so their child can actually go to the school here in the city. I mean, how many students are we actually talking about that are really going to benefit from this? The critical mass of students across New Zealand aren't going to have their educational standards lifted by this, and I just believe it's another example of education legislation just focusing on the wrong issues when we should be fairly and squarely focusing on what are the aspects that are actually going to raise achievement the most. Then the limited attendance centres. Now, I believe that there's been a change in position since the second reading, but I thought that was really silly lawmaking at its worst, where limited attendance centres weren't going to have to vet people who are going to work there. I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous, and in fact was dangerous for the students that were going to, or the little kiddies that were going to actually attend those limited attendance centres. There's no way on earth that a parent taking their child by the hand to drop them off at a limited attendance centre for a couple of hours while mum or dad goes and does the shopping. Mr. Chair?
I call Grant Robertson.
Thank you very much, Mr Chair.